Hello, beautiful souls. How are you all? Let me just adjust my camera here. Stacie Overman here, your spiritual guide and co-creator in positive change. Wow, I think we have about 8 inches of snow here in West Virginia. My husband had a night meeting and was just getting ready to leave. We found out the freeways are closed, so no night meeting. So I hope that the weather is treating you well wherever you may be. And I'm just so excited. I have a special guest that is going to be joining us tonight. Let me just log over here on my computer. I want to make sure I'm following along and seeing how it's going. We were having some technical difficulties, so I want to make sure it's going okay. Let me know if you're here, where you're here from, and if the snow has made it to your house, because it sure has here. I'm just going to send out a little invite my sweet guest, Darian. Oh, my phone's wiggling. Hello, hello. So I want to welcome tonight and introduce you to this beautiful woman. She came into my life in a very divine way. I swear that everything happens for a reason. Bring them on camera. Yes, I want to bring them on camera. Bring them. I finished introducing her, but her name is Darian. Darian and I met through a Facebook group of all things. Hello, dear. Welcome, welcome. How are you?
Good.
Good. You look beautiful.
Thanks.
So glad we got the technical stuff out of the way. So Darian, I was just saying how we met. I feel like it was very divine how we met. My husband and I were traveling through Tennessee and looking for property for our home and for our spiritual center. And I jumped into this group and I had posted what we were looking for. And Darian was a member of this group. And she said she never participated ever. And she actually jumped right in, introduced herself, invited us to her beautiful landscape where they call home. And I crazily actually accepted. And my husband and I drove to their house and we looked around and there was an instant connection. It was so amazing. And since then, I call Darian my friend now. I mean, I even spent the New Year's with them and enjoyed that New Year's Eve with them. Thank you for having me. So I really believe that everything happens for a reason. And after Darian and I met, she decided to enroll in the 9-week New You program. So I have her on as a guest because she is one of my graduates. She's in the alumni. She's a Master Saint now instead of a New You seeker. And so Darian, tell us a little about how was life before enrolling in the New You program? Like, what were you struggling with? What was going on that even made you think when you heard about my 9-week program that this was for you?
Well, immediately before I had been struggling a lot that winter, which was this time last year actually,
Right.
And with a lot of depression, which I would normally get during the winter time anyways, but a lot of anxiety was coming with that.
Okay.
And I mean, I literally was to the point where I couldn't go anywhere without having and we're talking a big anxiety attack.
Wow.
And just, constant fear. And I knew that something was deep rooted there. And my husband was willing, to do whatever we needed to do. So it was completely divine, our meeting.
Yeah.
It just was the right time, So, but it was hard. I had even been falling, I feel like 4 times in a row. I'm going, what is going on? What is tripping me up? I didn't understand what was going on.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was all acts to lead me to that point to get help. And I think it was the beginning of my awakening process.
So when you say you had blocks, things that were holding you back, or can you explain a little, like what led you from the blocks and anxiety and stress to the New You program seemed like that might help you? Like, Where was that bridge, that transition there?
Well, this is not completely new to me. I've been somewhat heading in the awakening direction for a number of years now. So I'm aware of some past life issues that I'm still struggling with even today. It's less, but I'm more aware of it now.
Okay.
But so I really felt that something was there that I needed to go deeper, and I didn't have the tools to do that myself.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. That makes sense. So that anxiety, do you attest that anxiety to mostly stuff from past lives that you were dealing with, or past in this lifetime? And then did the program help you to recognize and heal some of that?
well, kind of funny that you mentioned that, because I really thought that the anxiety was all me. I thought it was 100% me.
Okay.
I'm dealing through this, whatever's going on, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, now I always knew that I'm very empathic, but I didn't always know how that worked exactly. And now I know that immediately I will still feel anxious, but immediately, instead of dwelling on that, I ask, is this my energy?
Mm-hmm.
And so far, 100% of the time, it's been no.
Awesome.
And
Okay.
yeah, so as soon as I realize that, I'm able to let it go.
Okay.
And that has helped.
Right.
I mean, just tremendously.
So with so is that something that you learned with the techniques in the program? Yes? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And so
Yes.
when you were in the program, did you have some big aha moments, or like what was your biggest surprise about yourself going through this?
That was one of the biggest ones. I mean, when I finally realized that, oh my gosh, I always attributed all the anxiety with me. And come to find out, maybe none of it.
Okay.
Maybe I was just feeling obviously I was feeling other people's emotions.
Okay. So you are a huge empath. You're empathic. Yes. You feel everybody. You know if they're mad. You know if they're sad. You know if they're sick. You basically, your big lie detector's up all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's no pulling any punches with a great empath. But yeah, many of us, we don't realize that we're an empath. And so I can see how a lot of that anxiety can come on and it not even be our own. And,
yes.
And that's just an eye-opener, mind-blowing for people that didn't even know. I mean, I've run into people today that don't know what an empath is.
Yep.
You know, it's like they know what having empathy for someone, they understand that, but being an empath, they don't understand that. So
yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Is there anything in the program? What's that?
I keep getting phone calls.
Oh, right? It always happens when we're on live. It's like, oh, the doorbell's ringing, the dogs are barking. Everything happens when we go live. It's so fun. So teaches us how to roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else in the New You program that you were like, oh my gosh, I've never experienced this before and it was just so amazing, that you might want to share a little tidbit about besides the empath part?
Yes. I definitely feel that I'm closer to God, and I'm definitely closer to my angels. And I even met one of my primary angel, who I talk to daily.
Okay.
And it's so funny from, this time last year starting, and I'm going to cry.
That's okay. That's okay.
But it's just crazy to think about where I was and where I am now.
I love it. And when you said you got to actually meet your angel, all the hair on the back of my neck just stood up. I'm just like, woo, goosebumps. I love it. That's probably one of my favorite weeks. What's that?
They're here.
They're here. Turn up the heat. That is so beautiful. It's, being able to get closer to God and hear what God has to say and to us and about us and what he's proud of. And then to meet an angel on top of it and know they're working with you. I can remember when that first happened to me, I bawled my eyes out. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so humbled. I'm so grateful. It's awesome. It's awesome. One of my favorite things.
Another really big thing for me was the meditation.
Okay.
I'm the person coming into this that said I can't meditate. And I hear that a lot. It's like I can't clear my brain. I can't lay there for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I was that person. And now it's just second nature. Awesome. And it's amazing how much it's helped me health-wise, because I've had I currently have type 2 diabetes. Okay. And my numbers were really bad when I started, and I'm still on the medication. However, my numbers have improved like dramatically, to the point of my doctors asking me, okay, now what are you doing exactly?
Love it.
I'm meditating.
That is awesome.
So it has really, really helped health-wise too.
That's so awesome. I love it. I love when you come each week to those group calls and you're like, my doctor wants to know what I've changed and what I'm doing. It's like, yes. Yep. That is so awesome. I've just been so blown away watching your transformation during this whole journey. Every week was just like so, how do I say, like every week it looked like you had a weight lifted off your shoulders again, and a weight lifted off your shoulders again, and you felt and seemed lighter and happier and more grateful. And I just, I've seen you over, gosh, what's it been like? About 4 months or so. I've just seen the changes in you, and it's just been beautiful. I'm so proud of you. And I know one of the things that you had said was, I don't get visions, I don't see things. And I'll never forget that week when I think you emailed me and you shared in our group call was, I got my first vision. I've seen something. That was so exciting to hear. So yeah. It might not be our strength to see things, but at least we learn how to do it, and we learn to embellish what our strengths are. So just so exciting to watch you grow.
I think they're bringing it on slow for me, so I don't like overreact or anything.
Right? Yep. Our spirit team will help us. They know us better than we think they do. Yeah. That is awesome. Anything else you want to add, or if anybody's on the fence of, is the 9-week New You program for me? I'm kind of thinking I might want to do it. What would you tell them? Like, what else would you add?
If you are kind of thinking you want to do it, you need to do it. Because if it's in your mind, that's your team telling you that this is what you need to do. That's going to be helpful for yourself and help you be the person you're meant to be in this life. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. We put up all these barriers, and all that's based on fear. So when you're like, oh, I don't know, but you got to invest, and that's extremely important to me to do that. And I tell you the truth, at first I was backing off. Yeah. And I'm sure it was out of fear. And my husband was like, no, do it. You need to do it.
That's awesome.
Whatever is going to help me get better and everything, I just needed to do it. And he was right. And I mean, he'll be here in a second to tell you.
I was just going to say, what a great segue to have a supporting spouse. That's, oh my gosh, there's nothing better than to have a supporting spouse when you're going through something like this. And especially with it being on that spiritual side of things, I mean, not everybody gets it, and not everybody's supportive of that. So That's awesome. So without further ado, let's introduce Larry, your supportive spouse, our first spouse doing a little bit of a testimonial here. Thank you, Darian. As we transition guests, Larry, Darian's husband, is going to join us here. He supported Darian through this journey, and we're so grateful to have him. So we're getting him in here. Hello, Larry. Hello, welcome.
Hi, how you
doing? We're
Hello.
doing great. How are you?
Good.
Good. Well, we're so grateful that you have been such a supportive spouse for Darian on this amazing new you journey that she took, that took about 4 months or so. And she'll continue to grow. But tell us a little, Larry, if you will, like, what was life like in this sense with Darian before the program, and like the things that you've noticed in her change, like how it is now for her in your eyes?
Well, before, she was really experiencing a lot of anxiety and a lot of issues that had to do with nervousness, and we always wondered what was causing it, and she was put on some medications and that type thing to help deal with depression and anxiety, and just really felt that, you know, a lot of doctors just push the medications rather than trying to figure out really what's wrong.
Right.
But once she started your program, she started learning about grounding herself and started learning about the meditation. And just the meditation alone really transformed her in a lot of good ways.
Awesome.
And, you know, just learning about the different crystals and how they can affect you and how you can help ground you. And now she's got her little crystals that she wears all the time, and she grounds herself constantly, and she's always worried about, you know, do I need to go meditate? And there's been times where she has some, you know, fight or flight type anxiety issues, and she really just kind of digs deep within herself and does some meditation and some question asking, and it all goes away. So whether it's you know, picking on other people's energies that are negative, or, you know, being overwhelmed, or what the deal is, it's all working, and I'm very happy with that.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I'm so glad that a spouse can actually see the difference. You know, many times when we're, squeeze in. Many times when we're on this spiritual awakening journey on our own, others, like our spouses or significant others, can see the changes that are happening. But I mean, it's so nice that you actually, the last time, you know, we saw each other, you were like, there is a huge difference with my wife, and I just want to thank you so much. And I just want to cry. I just think that's so awesome. So I love it when our family can see that and our friends can see that, and they're not stuck in an old belief system that's not going to work. You know, you do have to have an open mind with this. But I wish, like I tell everybody, I wish that we would learn this stuff when we're in high school or even before that, because, you know, here we are in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and we're just now figuring this stuff out. And it's like the New You program really helps you peel away all those layers of the onion so we can really get to the root of who we are and why we came here. And so I'm just really thankful that Larry shared from a spouse's point of view. Thank you, Larry. It's
Absolutely.
wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank you, guys. Is there anything at the end here? I know you said if you're thinking about it, join, but any last thing you want to share as we wrap up here, Darian?
I just, again, my perspective of everything is, you know, it's like if you have any illness, you want to get it healed, and you got to take it seriously, because left untreated, it could lead to very difficult stuff. So
absolutely.
Sorry.
You're okay. I love my empathic Darian. She brings me to tears all the time. I love it.
I'm still a crybaby, so.
That's okay. But you have a very tender heart, and I thank you for sharing. It's absolutely beautiful, and your transformation has been a wonderful joy to be a part of, and thank you for opening yourself up to others so that they may be able to learn as well. So appreciate having you here. And
thank you.
Oh, anytime you want to come back and share more, I'll let you have the floor. Oh, well, on that note, if you are thinking about it, if you're contemplating, is the 9-week New You program for me? Like Darian said, if you're thinking about it, then it is something you're supposed to be taking. So on that note, all you have to do is private message me, send me a note, and we will set up a free complimentary discovery call. It's about 30 minutes, really to where I can just ask you a few questions and find out where you're at in your spiritual awakening and make sure that the New You program is a good fit for you. And if so, then we can take the next steps just like Darian did. Awesome. Well, I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and join me on my personal page. I'm going to do a new moon meditation at 5:30 Eastern. We'll see you there. Thanks, Darian.
Thank you.
Angel kisses.
Bye.
Bye.